Hi, everyone. It is my pleasure to welcome you to our webinar today, focusing on location and data APIs, some key considerations, and how you can build better app experiences with solid, secure APIs at your disposal. Today, we're going to be learning about how using APIs helps streamline working with address data, and you'll see some of these APIs today in action during a live demonstration. But before we begin, here's a quick overview of Precisely if this is your first time with us. You might know us under a different name like Pitney Bowes, Windshuttle, or Infojix, but today we're bringing all of our collective expertise under a new name to serve over 12,000 customers across 100 countries, extending all the way from Cape Lava to Mount Fuji and beyond. With 2,500 employees and counting, we serve 99 of the Fortune 100, and we're uniquely positioned as a leader in data integrity. And what that means is that we're the best at providing customers with accurate, consistent, and contextualized data, driving more confident and intelligent business decisions. We achieve this through a combination of software, data products, and strategic services, but our session today will be focusing specifically on Precisely APIs and how you can get started today to build apps and experiences based on trusted data. And to guide us through this on this path, I'd like to introduce Tanha Talavia, Solutions Engineer here at Precisely. Tanha supports clients in the process of understanding the broad set of Precisely's data integrity capabilities and how they can be leveraged within the context of these existing systems. She enjoys applying her deep industry expertise to develop efficient solutions and to pressing business problems and help Precisely customers, all while continuously learning and honing her skills. So thanks for joining us today, Tanha, and I'll hand it over to you.
Thanks for the introduction, Ruslan. So hello, everyone. And to learn more about how Precisely can solve address data related issues, we need to first understand why it's hard to maintain and work with address data. We all know that addresses can be really complicated at times. Like each field in an address is owned and maintained by different entities, and these fields frequently change independently. Thus, it is hard to maintain their accuracy. Like the house number and the street name creation is done by the collaboration between local addressing authority and the developer, while the creation of the suite number, that is the address line 2, originates with the developer and building owner with ongoing maintenance by building owner and the tenant. Then the USPS maintains and owns the city name. Then the federal government owns and maintains the state names, and also the USPS owns the postal code. So as you can see that each attribute of an address is owned and maintained by different entities. Hence, it is complicated for business owners to keep track of latest address changes. But Precisely excels at accepting the input of poor addresses and output cleansed, high quality, and standardized addresses. Now, there are significant challenges that companies face with location data, specifically how messy location data translates into increased time, risk, and inefficiency for the operations. Firstly, companies often struggle with the lack of reliable and robust third-party data. Many of the data sets they rely on are incomplete, outdated, or simply inaccurate. This inconsistency makes it difficult to make informed decisions and can lead to errors in their analysis. Secondly, the rapid changes in properties, businesses, and geo-characteristics add another layer of complexity. The landscape is constantly evolving. New buildings are constructed, businesses move or close, and also the neighborhood demographics shift. Keeping the data current and accurate amidst these changes is a continuous challenge. Lastly, joining spatial data at scale is computationally intense. Merging various data sets, each with its own format and structure, requires significant processing power and algorithms. This not only takes a lot of time, but also increases the risk of errors during the data integration process. Thus, I would say messy location data significantly increases the time, risk, and inefficiency of the operations they perform. Now, addressing these challenges is crucial for improving the accuracy and reliability of spatial analysis and getting efficient business outcomes. Now, here at Precisely, we do something called address matching. So like instead of directly taking the input address and trying to match with the address in our database, we perform these 4 steps. We cleanse the address, we normalize the address, we standardize, and we try to match the address. Cleansing the address basically includes eliminating any white spaces or unexpected characters in the input address. Then we normalize the address, that is bring the input address in a standard format based on the specific country address that is entered. Then we break the address into different components, that is called parsing, and then we try to match the address. As you can see in the example here, the input address is not clear enough to generate an output, but precisely first cleans the address, normalizes the address, parses the address, and then we try to match the address in our database. And here is the output address generated by precisely. Now let's see how precisely can mitigate these address related issues and streamline the data process. As we saw, businesses often struggle with inaccurate addresses, which can lead to various operational challenges such as failed deliveries, customer dissatisfaction, and increased costs due to returns and reshipments. These issues can significantly impact a company's efficiency and customer relations. Precisely can address these challenges through its comprehensive geoaddressing solutions, which includes geocoding, address verification, and address autocomplete. Now, if we talk about geocoding, so geocoding is the process of converting address information into geographic coordinates, that is latitude and longitude, and vice versa through reverse geocoding. This allows businesses to map addresses to physical location, facilitating precise delivery, routing, territory management, and location-based analytics. For instance, a business can determine the exact location of a customer for better service delivery or optimize logistics by mapping out the most efficient routes for deliveries. Now, address verification is essential for ensuring that addresses are valid and deliverable. It confirms the accuracy of postal information specific to each country, helping to avoid common issues like undeliverable mail and misrouted packages. Now, by verifying addresses at the point of entry, businesses can reduce the incidence of errors, improve delivery success rates, and maintain a clean, reliable customer database. This process involves checking the address against authoritative postal databases to ensure it is correctly formatted and exists as a deliverable location. Then we offer address autocomplete, which is also known as our type ahead service, which enhances the address entry process by predicting and suggesting complete addresses as user begins typing. This feature uses input text and location context as an input to generate a list of possible addresses. This not only speeds up the data entry process, but also minimizes the risk of errors as users are guided to select valid addresses from the suggestions provided. Address autocomplete helps improve user experience on website and applications by making the form filling processes quicker and more intuitive. So you start with your data where it is located or perhaps it is being captured online. Precisely provides global geoaddressing coverage, and by integrating these geoaddressing solutions, businesses can significantly improve their data accuracy and operational efficiency. Now, as you can see, here is a parcel boundary, and within this parcel, you have multiple buildings. And within these buildings, you'll have a number of addresses. Precisely points to each addressable location. Now, once you have an addressable location with accurate location coordinates, you may want to add value to the data. We make data enrichment fast and easy with a unique identifier, the Precisely ID, which makes linking your data with additional data sets very fast and easy. So Precisely ID is a unique and persistent identifier that may be used as a substitute for an address. Just as the fingerprint removes ambiguity about a person's identity, an identifier solves questions about an address by providing a unique and consistent reference. Precisely ID facilitates joining or linking multiple internal databases. The problem with using address to link databases is that there are multi-field labels for an addressable location, as we saw. And as we saw, that each attribute of an address is owned and maintained by different entities. So using a single entity as an identifier is much more efficient and less error prone than using an entire address. So with this Precisely ID, you can link over 9,000 attributes which are spread across different data sets. Some of our data sets are address fabric, risk data, property attributes, geotax data, information about buildings, businesses, and parcels, and much more. These attributes help companies fill data-related gaps and help them make efficient business decisions. Precisely updates this data on a regular basis to keep you in line with the latest trends in our data. The Precisely ID allows customers to access what could be seen traditionally as quite difficult tasks to deal with a very fast and straightforward process. Now, to achieve your goals, you need what we call data integrity. So at Precisely, we have defined data integrity as data with maximum accuracy, consistency, and context for confident business decision making. So as we talk to the customer, we hear some statements that we see similar patterns. And what we have learned is that each organization is on a journey to continuously improve the integrity of their data, to better understand their business and ultimately better serve their customers. Every journey to data integrity is unique based upon the business, the data, and the desired outcome. Most of our customers are going through modernization initiatives and want to start from ground up, focus on data integrity holistically, while some may want to pursue data governance initiatives. Now, Precisely's modular interoperable data integrity suites contain everything you need to deliver accurate, consistent, and contextualized data for your business wherever and whenever it's needed. And the things that we have been focusing on for this suite are an enhanced customer user experience to provide a seamless experience across every function friendly to both business and technical users. Intelligence and automation to streamline and accelerate workflows, connectivity, and interoperability with our customers. Technology ecosystems, meaning that we go where the data is. And finally, a core foundation of suite service capabilities to ensure optimal efficiency, performance, and security. Now, data integration is used to break down silos by quickly building data pipelines. Data observability proactively uncovers data anomalies and act before they become costly downstream issues. Data governance manages data policy and processes with greater insight into your data's meaning, lineage, and impact. Now, data quality ensures data delivery that's accurate, consistent, and fit for purpose across operational and analytical systems. Geo-addressing, as we saw, is used to verify standard and standardized geocode addresses, spatial analytics to drive and visualize spatial relationships hidden in your data, and finally, to complete the horizontal line here, data enrichment, to enrich your business data with expertly curated data sets. And remediating data quality issues and ensuring accurate and consistent data within your ecosystem is paramount. You can't build trust without quality data. There's no guessing in all these capabilities. They essentially need to work seamlessly together to impact the life cycle of data from preparation to observation to remediation. Now, our APIs help you to perform all these functions, vary identities, locate interests, and enrich all your location data without you worrying about the maintenance and update operations. We'll discuss some of the many APIs that Precisely has to offer in further slides. Starting with geocoding API, which converts individual or collection of addresses to location coordinates and vice versa, which is reverse geocoding. The geocoding API returns latitude and longitude coordinates with the input of an address or Precisely ID and vice versa. It's useful for enhancing and enriching your customer addresses. This functionality is fundamental for customers for various applications, including mapping, navigation, spatial analysis, and location-based services. Now, if we have a look at how this API works, so we have an entire data integrity suite APIs collection, and this is the Postman collection that we have to offer. To access this API, you first need to generate an authentication token. And to generate this token, you need to log into our portal and get your credentials, which is API key and API secret. And once you hit on the send button, it'll generate an access token for you. And this access token is set to expire in 60 minutes. So you'll have to regenerate token every 60 minutes. It's for security purpose. And once you have your access token ready, you can access any of our DIS APIs with this token. Now, if I start with geocoding API, as I said, it will take an address as an input and country is a mandatory field. We have different custom preferences, which you can use based on your requirements. And once I hit on the send button, here you can see that it has the geocoded information about the input address. It will give you the formatted street address, formatted location address, the address number, country information, state information, county, city, postal code, etc. The main thing in our geocoding API that will come back with location coordinates, that is longitude and latitude. So along with this, it will also give you additional custom fields like whether the input address is residential or business. It'll give you the PB key, which is a unique identifier for an address. which I talked about in the previous slides. Then it'll give you information about census block ID. It'll give you information about whether this address is deliverable or not. And it'll also give you something called precision code. So this precision codes helps you to identify how different is the input address from the output address that we matched. So if you see here that this address was missing a postal code, that means here it indicates that the postal code is missing. So each character in this precision code basically helps you to determine which of the attributes in the input fields are missing that precisely added. Now, if we move to the next API, that is the address verification API. So address verification is a critical component for ensuring the accuracy and reliability of address data in various applications, from e-commerce and logistics to financial services and government databases. Our API eliminate errors in address data, improve customer experience. The address verification API makes communication easier, faster, and effortlessly by enriching customer details, keeping it up to date, and maintaining its accuracy and consistency. It eliminates redundancy in reaching out to customers and makes it easy for distinct functional areas to work seamlessly in improving customer relationships. Now, if we have a look at our address verification API, so this API will also take the input address as the input. And once you hit on the send button, it will verify the address for you. Moving to the next API, which is address autocomplete. Using an autocomplete address API can significantly enhance user experience and data accuracy in applications that requires address input. So autocomplete functionality helps user by providing address suggestions as they type, reducing errors and speeding up the input process. It is useful for any local search, checkout, shipping, or billing experiences on your website. Now, if we have a look at our autocomplete API, so basically here I'm just entering address number and the street name in the input address. And if I hit on the send button, it'll basically give me a list of all addresses that has this address number and the street name. So here you can see that we got two suggestions. Now, so we have something called expanded range unit. So this is used in case when you want the unit numbers two in the suggestions along with the main address. So now if I hit on the send button after turning on the expanded range unit custom preference, you can see that within this first 2001 North Beverly Plaza Long Beach apartment, it is a multi-unit apartment. So that's why it will give you all suggestions along with the unit names and not just main address line. So this is some of our features of our autocomplete API. Moving to the next API, that is a geotax API. So using our geotax API, you can integrate tax rates into your billing, commerce, payments, and payroll applications, business processes, and workflows. The tax API returns local tax rates with the input of location coordinates or address, which is critical for any billing, commerce, payment, or payroll applications or services. So as I said that this tax API, I have entered an address, and when I hit on the send button, it'll come with all the tax related information. So this includes jurisdiction information. This includes information about sales tax, use tax that you can use for your businesses. Moving to the next API, that is email verification API. The email verification API corrects and validates your email addresses to protect your database from invalid, toxic, and undesirable email addresses. We help you avoid a damaged sender reputations by flagging those bouncing emails, spam trap hits, honeypots, stale lists, and do not contact lists before you have a chance to use them. The validate email address service takes an email address and determines if it's valid or not. It can fix common typographical errors to return a valid email address. It also identifies problematic email addresses. So if we take a look at our email verification API, and here you can see that I've entered an email address, and if I hit on the send button, because it's not a valid email address, it says invalid and that it's not deliverable. Now, if I enter a valid email address, it'll validate the email address for you and say if it's deliverable or not. Moving to the next API, which is our time zone API, the time zone API returns zones and UTC offsets with the input of a location coordinate or an address. It's useful for logistics and customer engagement applications, business processes, and workflows. Now, if we take a look at our time zone API, so you can enter the time, you can get the time zone by either address or location coordinates. Here you can see that I've entered an address and a time UTC timestamp. So you'll get information about the time zone for this address. It will give you the time zone, UTC offset, DST offset, and the address, matched address information. Now I'll hand it over to Ruslan. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tanha. I hope everyone enjoyed the session today as much as I did. It's always great to see all these APIs in action. If you would like to jump in and try our Precisely APIs, please scan the QR code on the screen or visit precisely.com. We also mentioned our data enrichment portfolio during today's webinar. This is also available for you to try to explore in Precisely Data Experience at data.precisely.com. Finally, if you would like to learn how we can help with your unique business needs, please don't hesitate to reach out, and we're here to help. With that, I'd like to thank you for joining and Tanha for presenting, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you.